Hey everyone, Trey with Texas Property Management Partners. I wanted to do a quick video today on an all too common subject, what to do when your tenant stops paying rent. I had a call earlier this morning, and I often get at least one of these calls per month. My tenant stopped paying, now what? One of the common frustrations I hear from landlords, oftentimes out of state, is that they have a resident that moved into the property. They'll be paying for a couple of months, and then for whatever reason, they just start ghosting you or stop paying rent altogether. What you do next is incredibly important. So I'm going to give you some steps and actions that you need to take when your tenant stops paying rent. The first thing you need to do is communicate with your resident. I've been doing this for over 10 years. I've heard almost every excuse in the book. But that being said, you still need to make sure that the lines of communication are open so that you don't jump the gun, hurt your investment. So discuss with them on what is happening so that you know the appropriate course of action. If there's just a delay in payroll, okay, let's go ahead and make sure that we work with them to get back on track. Because that second part of, can we actually solve whatever this problem is? If they've lost their job, things might change. Make sure that you begin documenting everything. All text messages, dates of phone calls, any emails that you have, any software you might be using. Document everything you have so that if you have to go before a judge, you can present all the facts so that the judge can make a determination on whether or not to proceed with eviction. I've been there many times where owners use emotion because they're just frustrated with the situation, which is valid, but not when you're standing in front of a judge. So make sure you have all documentation so that we can take emotion out of the picture and simply use the data. The next thing you need to do is know the Texas laws. I have another video where I go into this a little bit more, so make sure that you watch that. But basically, you need to know if you're issuing a notice to vacate, pay or quit, and then the actions that the resident is going to take counter to what you're presenting. So make sure you know the required timelines within the Texas laws so you can take the appropriate actions at the right time. Unfortunately, a miscalculation on a lot of landlords is that they'll take a partial payment because a resident will say, hey, I've got $750 out of that $2,000 that I can give you right now. Unfortunately, if you take that partial payment, you cannot proceed with any type of eviction. So you need to know that going into it. I can remember one time standing in front of a judge where the resident presented an entire list of all the Zelle payments that she had made. And unfortunately, that information had not been shared with me. So that was a fun conversation with the owner after that failed experience. You have to make sure that you pay all the money or none. That way you can take the appropriate legal action and enforce the lease. I know a lot of DIY landlords, and you need to know at what point you can stop accepting those excuses and make the appropriate actions to have the individual in your home removed. Oftentimes, people will go 30, 45, 60 plus days hearing the excuses from someone in order to get back on track. I can tell you after 10 years, once somebody hits the 45-day mark and has not completed a full satisfaction of the debt, the likelihood of them satisfying the debt is almost 99% failure rate. So be very careful in assessing your risk. That's just my experience in doing this. The best thing you could do to protect yourself is use a professional. Use an attorney. Use a property management company. Always make sure that you've got documentation. And if you need to, then file with the JP court in whichever district it may be in. By using professionals, you're going to save yourself a lot of time and headache. Oftentimes, the costs associated with it outweigh the detriment and time that it takes to get an individual out on your own. I know nobody wants to evict anybody. It's expensive, it's time consuming, there are headaches, but this is your asset. You have to protect your asset. So make sure you follow the steps and the guides that I've given you and protect your investment. If you'd like to know more, feel free to give us a call, 800-833-8330, or find us online, texaspropertymanagementpartners.com. Feel free to use the Calendly link or fill out a form so we can put some time on the calendar to discuss your situation. All right, have a good day.